Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, July the 3rd. We're here to look at the rest of the cozy mysteries that were published this week. And it's going to be a longer session. Make sure you have your beverage of choice. We are taking our time to look at them all. I personally don't have to rush off to work, so let's do it. Elena says, I'm back now. Well, hello, Elena. How you doing? And she says, Happy 4th of July, everyone. Indeed, it's Happy 4th of July weekend. Helen says, Afternoon all. Well, hello. How are you doing over there? Katie says, Morning, everyone. Good morning. Amy says, Hi, everyone. I'm wishing everyone that celebrates a Happy 4th of July. Well, back at you, baby. It is one of my favorite holidays. I kind of go all out, so it means a lot to me. Did you know that yesterday, July 2nd, was the actual day of our independence? July 2nd. That is when the 13 colonies actually voted to separate. It just took a couple days to get the document ready. So it is okay to celebrate over more than one day. All right, let's see. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I do have sprints tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, as usual, 3 p.m. Eastern, goes for 5 hours. If you want to come hang out and have some quiet time. And Elena says, Hello, Cajun. All right, so we are looking at the rest of the Cozy Mysteries. Now, the book that we ended on should be right here between Spectacles, Sangria, and Selkies, and A Smidgen of Chaos. I had put it in another list over here, and then I had deleted it, and somehow, if you delete in one list, it deletes them in all. So, we had looked at it. It's just missing now. It was my marker, and now I had to figure out where we were at. Just a bit of technical difficulties. Not really even a difficulty. Anywho, let's keep going. A Smidgen of Chaos by S. Usher Evans, 4th in the Probid Perfections Bakery series. Magical baker Lily Dean just can't catch a break. She was halfway to repaying the intimidating when her oven breaks, forcing her to work alongside Mr. Globe's handsome son Julian, the very son he warned her to stay away from, or he'll call due her debt. But when Mr. Globe's properties are destroyed by strange giant mushrooms that spring up from nowhere, I hate it when that happens. Lily hopes solving the mystery might get her on his good side again, yet the town of Silverkeep still has its secrets, and finding the scoundrel responsible for these freaky fungi proves more difficult than keeping her eyes off Julian. One of those cross-genre type books. Methinks. Murder at a Scottish Halloween by Tracy Hall, 8th in the Scottish Shire Mysteries. While Paisley will be celebrating All Hallows Eve by handing out candy to the trick-or-treaters at her Cashmere Crush sweater shop, her teenage son Brody seems to have given up the ghost. Uninterested in donning a superhero or monster costume, he's just going to attend a party with his friends at the ice rink. But Brody got swept up in the spirit of the season after all. Dared by the older kids, he went to the supposedly haunted Wraith ruins to capture video of a vengeful ghost. The local legend of the Wraith has been passed down for generations and still gives Paisley the creeps. While no specter actually roams the grounds, the lifeless body of university student Alice Barkley is discovered there. I'm going to say Alice. Alice was at the ruins dressed as the ghost to prank Brody, only something went wrong. With her son traumatized and deemed a suspect, it's up to Paisley to string together whether Alice was a victim of the real Wraith of Wraith ruins, yeah, say that fast, or of someone dangerous among the living, ... End of that row. Are you guys doing anything special for the 4th? We are not. We are hunkering down. Mary says, Good morning, PK, Elena, Cajun, and Amy. Good morning. Happy Friday and early 4th. The gang is all here. Hope everyone is well and staying cool here. Oh, hot here in Virginia. Oh, 101 supposedly today? Yuck. No. No. Plus you guys are what? Humid? Bleh. I think we're supposed to be in the upper 80s and 90s through the weekend. Bleh. Murder on the Jurassic Coast by Andrea Hicks, 17th in the Camille Devine Murder Mysteries. Well, doesn't she look divine? Summer 1926. When Nolly receives a devastating letter from an old friend's husband, the news is chilling. Jill, a vibrant woman despite her disability, has been found dead at the foot of a cliff on the hauntingly beautiful Jurassic Coast. Her wheelchair lies shattered on the rocks, but something doesn't sit right. As Nolly and Aaron retreat to the coast to grieve in their newly purchased cottage, Camille and Richard, along with Nolly, arrive to offer comfort and ask questions. Why was Jill near the cliff edge at all? Why was her wheelchair damaged in a way no fall could explain? And why are the locals so tight-lipped? With the police baffled and no arrests made, Camille and her circle are once again drawn into a tangle of secrets, lies, and long-held grudges. Among ancient fossils and crashing waves, a very modern killer is hiding in plain sight. Oops, we are up here. Cajun says hi to Mary. Emily says, happy early 4th. Well, hello and happy early 4th. Mary says, hi, Helen and Emily. Missed you all. And Emily, it's supposed to be triple here indices, heat industries here in central Illinois, so my plans are to stay best buddies with my air conditioning. Indeed. Mary says, yes, me too, Emily. AC is definitely our best friend these days, so let's all thank the inventor. Actually, I have a meme of what his actual name is, but I can't think of it right now. But yes, thank you very much, the inventor of the AC. I have a sneeze coming. Hang on. Excuse me. Death in the Latin Quarter by Evan Hurst, 8th in A Paris Bookseller's Mysteries. A Paris bookseller, a novelist no one ever met, a retired French notary who reads a room of writers the way other people read manuscripts, a cozy mystery with a Latin Quarter crime writer's workshop, a roman à clef no one will admit to writing, and a literary scandal 20 years deep. When an impossible book turns up at the Porte de Vannes crime fair, and the bookseller who recognizes it nearly dies minutes later, British bookseller Ava Sext is pulling into a Latin Quarter writer's workshop, a mansion full of secrets, and a case someone is willing to kill to keep buried. Her partner in the investigation, Henri Diath, which is the word death, retired notary and keeper of every secret in the 7th arrondissement. Her partner in everything else is on a glacier in Iceland, 2 hours and a phone call away. And Mercury, a cat who isn't hers but shows up for breakfast anyway. Ava is curious enough to keep asking questions in a room of people who need her to stop, and reckless enough to chase a killer onto a barge on the Seine. The trouble is, someone in the workshop wants the questions buried with her. Our subdivision is outside city limits, and we are ground zero for all kinds of fireworks. And the big boomers, like a big fireworks show at every house kind of thing. So we have learned over the 24 years we've lived here, sleep during the day, because you won't sleep at night. Mary says, God bless. Thank you. Emily says, during the school year, I can't make the morning show usually because I'm arriving to work. During the summer, I make it if I'm alert enough. That's okay. I don't sleep past 7, but am I fully awake? Heck, I would go back to bed. Doc says, yikes. Yeah. Omens and Orbs by Allie Catt and Tasha Oakwood, 7th in the Witches of Willowbark Cozy Mysteries. The 7th hint that Willowbark is closer to magical disaster than the Burned Hollow is closer to magical disaster than the Burned Hollow is to a bad reputation. That is it me? Not enough coffee? Connor and I are supposed to be on a romantic getaway. The Burned Hollow isn't exactly my first choice, but it has cozy cabins, a questionable tour guide, lukewarm mojitos, not me, and enough tragic witch trial history to ruin any moonlit stroll. I'm hoping to find out more about where us hearts came from. Gotcha. Maybe forget about the cult for 30 seconds. Then a golden orb appears over our neighbor's cabin, as it usually does. and the occupant, Daniel Voss, ends up dead in the hollow with a hole in his chest. Turns out Daniel was a developer with maps, plans, and a talent for ticking off all of Woolabark. Sheriff Jones is watching me closer than ever. The suspects are suspecting, and the hollow is acting odd enough to make death by old land sound like a reasonable explanation. Some are calling it a curse. Others are calling it a hoax. I'm calling it trouble. I'm Aurora Hart, professional finder of magical disasters. I absolutely did not book in advance. If I don't uncover what really happened in the burned hollow, Daniel Voss may not be the last person swallowed by its secrets. I spelled installment down here wrong. I don't know, reading stuff like that makes me want to read the Golden Age books where, English mattered. Sentence structure mattered. And get off my lawn. Rah, rah, rah. Marie says, for years up at 5 a.m. and left the house by 6 a.m. Long, slow commute. So now that I'm retired, I treasure a long, slow morning. Well, I believe you deserve it. You have earned it. And she says, I like the cover of Omens and Orbs. It is pretty. Marie says, hi, docs. Dead Ahead by Patty Larson. 22nd in the White Witch Island Paranormal Cozies. Georgia finds herself mediating her friends' love lives when Dr. Carling Chandra's two suitors clash during a medical conference at the Acropolis Hotel. But when one of the attendees turns up dead, she's forced to juggle assisting in a murder investigation with the hearts of three people she cares about. But will the killer stop at one murder, or will one of the lovers she's trying to counsel die next? End of that row. Coffee. I'm drinking Dunkin' Butter Pecan, one of my favorites. Mary says, Emily, what grade do you teach? I know you must treasure your summers. Indeed. Rigged for Murder by Karen McInerney, 12th in the Grey Whale Inn Mysteries. When innkeeper Natalie Barnes signs on as sous chef aboard the historic schooner Margaret Stout, she expects a week of good food, ocean breezes, and smooth sailing with a group of Texas women. But the voyage gets off to a rocky start when one of the guests dies suddenly on the very first night. The Coast Guard declares the death natural causes, but Natalie isn't convinced. After all, the victim left behind a journal full of questions, and the Margaret Stout has a murky history of its own. As Natalie kneads dough, tends the ship's wood stove, and keeps the hungry passengers fed, she finds herself navigating dangerous waters. Missing medications, mysterious connections between crew and guests, and whispers of a long-buried secret suggest that someone aboard is determined to keep the truth below deck. When a second woman falls deathly ill during a lobster bake on a remote Maine island, Natalie realizes this mystery is far from adrift. With a killer hiding in plain sight and no way off the schooner, she'll need all hands on deck to uncover the truth, for she's the next one sent to Davy Jones's locker. Hey, did they change the release date on that? Well, dang it. All Shell Breaks Loose by Molly McRae, 3rd in the Haunted Shell Shop Mysteries. Oh, on North Carolina's Ocracoke Island, Maureen Nash sells exquisite seashells to locals and tourists, with Bonnie the shop cat and the ghost of a Welsh pirate for company, and when needed, she steps in to help the police solve a murder. Dr. Irving Allred is boasting around town that he's about to get his hands on an authentic haunted sword. But minutes after Maureen hears the story, a woman walks into the Moonshell, sword in hand. She found it while walking her bulldog on the beach, and its blade is stained with what looks like blood. Looks like it's time to call the sheriff's department. Allred is furious that his prize is now in police custody, and even more agitated than an unknown buyer was trying to outbid him. He's convinced that the sword will lead him straight to the ghost he's hunting. He's not the only one on the Outer Banks who's been searching for spirits, though. An odd visitor also showed up at Maureen's shop, claiming the ability, I think there's supposed to be, to sense them, though somehow she didn't seem to notice Maureen's spectral friend hanging about. When a man who'd been camping nearby is found cut down along the shore, Maureen starts providing some unofficial assistance to Captain Rob Tate by digging into the island's maritime history. But it's not the only mystery she's facing, because the shop's resident ghost is seeing ghosts himself. I would think you would. Aren't you kind of on the same plane? Same vibe? Dead and Misled by Tegan Marr. Whatever. First in the Gulf Coast Reaper Mysteries. Reaping ain't easy, but at least it's not boring. Being a reaper's not a bad gig. Go to the place of death, collect the soul, and help them to their great beyond. Sounds easy, right? You'd think, but some people insist on being difficult even after their last breath. My name's Ren, and that's how I spend my work hours. My mentor tells me to just go in, avoid conversation, collect the soul, and call it a day. He may be that slick, but I haven't quite gotten it down yet. So I do generally manage not to get coerced into investigating a murder, though. At least until old man Schmidt strong-arms me into investigating his death, even though it seems natural. Let me tell you, folks, never underestimate an 80-year-old man's ability to play dirty. If I manage to scrape through without getting myself killed or losing my job, I swear I'll never talk to my assignments again. Is it just me, or is it just so many more paranormal ones these days? Undone in the Underbrush by Dale Mayer, 6th in the Lovely Lethal Gardens Rewind. Doreen and Mac and their animal entourage are home from their crazy trip to Vancouver, yet not long enough for boredom to set in. A new murder case appears, clearly defined as Mac's, not hers, until the latest victim is connected to a little old lady living in Rosemore who has a lot of connections that she's more than willing to yank on to get the best detective not on the force to work this case. Under these circumstances, Doreen steps up to help Mac, together with her loyal menagerie of animals, and digs deep into the mystery surrounding this latest murder. Her investigation involves unraveling local criminals, a shadowy crime boss, unexpected twists and turns, even one no one saw coming. That is a busy cover. End of that row. It just says there are a lot of paranormal now. Yeah, they're taking over. Like ants. The Honeyed Truth by Sandra Orchard. 22nd in the Mysteries of Cobble Hill Farm. Something's buzzing at Lavender Hill Farm, but it's not the bees. When veterinarian Dr. Harriet Bailey Knight joins a lively group of church seniors for a tour of White Church Bay's must-see Lavender Farm, she anticipates a relaxing day among the fragrant blooms. But when one of the seniors remarks on the surprising absence of honeybees for such a beautiful sunny day, Harriet's curiosity is piqued. She soon finds the bees aren't gone, but something's not right. Honey yields are mysteriously low, tensions are mounting among the staff, and the resident alpaca keeps escaping his pen. Can Harriet find the source of the issue before things get out of hand? Meanwhile, Harriet's Aunt Ginny has been acting strange lately. Every time Harriet tries to reach out, Aunt Ginny withdraws. Fortunately, healing of both bees and hearts can come in unexpected ways. Harriet is about to learn that even when life stings, a little honey can go a long way. Was there an actual crime in that one? Deadly Dedication by Ileana Munoz Renfro, 6th in the Hawthorne Corner Cozy Mysteries. When the Cade family arrives at Hawthorne Corner for a glamorous rare book signing at Whispering Pages bookstore, publisher Benner Cade expects a weekend filled with literary egos, awkward publicity photos, and one impossible best-selling author. Instead, Lenora Vane ends up dead. Hours before the author's body is discovered outside the bookstore, witnesses overhear a vicious argument between Lenora and Benner. By morning, the entire town buzzes with gossip after someone recalls Lenora's chill warning. "You'll regret this." To Sheriff Lopez, the case appears simple. Benner had motive, opportunity, and far too many secrets. But Hawthorne Corner is not an ordinary town. Luna Bloom, the owner of Bloom's and Brew's Tea Room and the town's resident psychic, senses something darker moving beneath the surface of Lenora's murder. Strange energy clings to the victim's final manuscript, whispers drift through Evermore House, and Lila Evermore's restless spirit seems determined to guide Luna toward a truth someone will kill to protect. Meanwhile, Don Chispa, the Cade family's dramatic Chinese-crested dog with a flair for chaos, sharp instincts, and a habit of blurting Spanglish at the worst possible moments, this is a dog, refuses to believe Benner is a killer. As literary scandals unravel, rivalries ignite, and long-buried secrets surround Lenora's lost manuscript begin to surface, Luna, Don Chispa, and the Cade family uncover a dangerous truth that threatens to destroy reputations, fortunes, and fragile piece of Hawthorne Corner itself. Why do they always have to put in a talking dog or cat? Emily says, Mary, I teach high school special education, freshman health, sophomore English, and then I teach junior and seniors study skills and give them classwork support. That's a full schedule. Amy says, oh my, the author of Deadly Dedications has the same last name, but a different letter, letter different from me. Oh my. The Well-Broken Promise by Carrie Lee Townsend, 5th in a Wishville mystery. This is a cozy fantasy mystery. All right. Some promises are made to be broken, some loyalties are made to be tested, and some lines should never be crossed. Lyra Wells hoped Spring Wishfest would mark a true new beginning. Flowers in bloom, music in the square, and a town ready to believe balance could be rebuilt. After a winter of deception, Lyra and her closest allies have chosen a different path. No longer aligned with the elders and refusing to join the rebels, they protect both Wishville and Illyrian on their own terms. They call themselves the Fearless Four, equal partners with no secrets and no inherited loyalties. But independence comes with consequences. When a scientist investigating the strange energy beneath Wishville is found murdered, Lyra discovers he may have crossed through a fracture between worlds before his death. I was going to say something. I won't. Chief of Police Holden Thorne must manage a growing list of suspects while Lulu keeps the story from spinning out of control. Calderas faces quiet unrest in Illyrian as whispers spread about his departure. With evidence pointing in impossible directions and suspects rising in both worlds, Lyra must untangle a mystery that threatens more than one life. If the boundary between realms can be breached, peace may not be as secure as she once believed. The question is simple. Who decides what balance looks like, and who is willing to kill for it? How many pages is it? 349. All right. No, I'm not going to read it. I prefer my cross genres to be sci-fi and crime. Cajun says, as much as I love animals, I do not want talking ones or sleuthing ones in my books. I agree. And Mary says, amen, Cajun. I agree. I want my crime based in reality, except in space. The Maggie and Marple Mysteries, Volume 1, A Small Town Cozy Mystery by Lee Williamson. Are these like short stories? What is this? 434 pages. We'll read the first paragraph. A love letter, a vanished friend, and a hidden diary collide as Clara and Maggie chase mysteries from Sydney to Soho to small town New Zealand, risking heartbreak, danger, and everything they thought they knew in the search for truth. We got time. Let's read it. A love letter mystery, a special book, a love letter, a mystery to be solved. Big changes are happening in Clara's life. Is now really the time to be helping her friend Sassy find the owner of a mysterious love letter? Her boyfriend Tyrone wants her to concentrate on their future, but solving the mystery is just too intriguing to ignore. Will Clara find the owner of the letter, and will she still have a boyfriend, if she does? The Soho Nights Mystery. London's Soho in the 70s is all glitz and glamour, masking a sinister underbelly. Having grown up in small-town New Zealand, Maggie Thompson leaps at the chance to live and work there. When she runs into her childhood crush, Daisy, she becomes a part of the Soho scene in a way she could only have dreamed of. Excited and exhilarated by the bohemian culture, she thinks life can't get any better, and that's when her world crashes around her. In a single night, Daisy rejects her, their friend Duke goes missing, and Maggie is introduced to the darker side of Soho. Can Maggie help Daisy track down Duke while nursing a broken heart? And can they do it before he is lost to them forever? They had the word is at, backwards. S-I. Murder in the manuscripts. Grammar police. A hidden diary, a scrap of paper, an abandoned puppy. Could these three clues mean that Maggie's friend Lawrence didn't die from natural causes? Maggie believes so and intends to investigate, even if her broken ankle is slowing her down. Fresh from heartbreak, Clara travels from Sydney to country New Zealand to look after her injured great-aunt, only to find Maggie set upon investigating her friend's death. As the two women dig into how Lawrence died, they uncover a not-so-wholesome side to the township of, oh my goodness, Waiawa. That's the best I can do. One which Sergeant Richardson would rather they stay away from. With help from her mystery book club, will Maggie find out the truth about Lawrence's death? And will Marple the dog find her forever home? If you are doing any kind of location, global kind of challenge readathon thing, you might want to mark that one down as New Zealand. Amy says the Maggie and Marple looks good. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Can we have fewer words? Murder at the Honey Farm. 33rd in the Tiffany Black Travel Mysteries. I wonder if like the book is all like this too. A dead body, a bee farm under suspicion, and a town buzzing about murder hornets. When Tiffany Black arrives in Idaho, she's expecting scenic mountain views, a world-famous falconry festival, delicious local honey. Instead, she finds a bitter property dispute, a swarm of suspects, and a killer determined to stay hidden. I think they have like the suspects listed like this inside the book. Can Tiffany solve the mystery before someone else gets stung? I mean, I like the cover. A Dangerous Vision by Christy Carlisle, 3rd in the Electra Pool Mysteries. I read the first one in this. Pretty covers. A man lies dead in the streets of London, and Electra Pool's calling card is found in his hand. Inspector Gideon Pierce, drawn back into her orbit despite every professional instinct, comes to her with questions she cannot answer. She has never met Percival Pennington. She has no idea why he carried her card, but Pierce's suspicion cuts deeper than mystery itself, and Electra knows that her word alone will not be enough. The investigation leads to Lady Cordelia Redmayne, Electra's dearest friend, her housemate, and the wife of a powerful member of Parliament. Cordelia's name cannot be tangled in scandal, not when her husband's career and her own standing hang in the balance. Electra will not allow it. She turns to the psychic gifts that have always set her apart, searching for answers in visions the police cannot see and truths the dead cannot speak. But what she uncovers is far more dangerous than a single murder. Hidden alliances stretch and tangle among those connected to Pennington. Buried secrets claw their way to the surface, and a disturbing vision reveals that danger may lurk for Gideon. Ooh. Cage says, that's a pretty cover, Dangerous Vision. Yes. And Amy says, yes, I agree, Cage. Yeah, every one of the books in that series has that same color. The dress is a different color. They're very pretty. And a hiss mist. Circulation Ceased. 3rd in the Fog Harbor Mysteries by Danny Wood. Fog Harbor's annual Harvest Festival should have been all prize pies, caramel apples, and small-town gossip. Librarian Tessa Hartwell was ready to enjoy the bake-off with her doodle waffles at her side until one bite of a cupcake sent the judge rushing to the hospital. By morning, Mayor Jim Davidson was dead. The victim was more than a festival judge. He was a powerful man with a tarnished reputation, and the deeper Tessa dug, the more secrets she uncovered. A buried grudge, a broken trust, a truth someone wanted to keep hidden. But poison was the perfect small-town murder weapon. Anyone at the festival could have delivered the fatal treat, and in Fog Harbor, even friendly faces had something to hide. With Waffles sniffing out trouble and the whole town looking on, Tessa has to separate harmless gossip from deadly truth before the killer decided she had asked one question too many. Well, as far as we know, the dog doesn't talk, so there's that. And the dog secretly says, yes, I'm just a cover model. I don't talk during this. A Bookish Betrayal by Anthea Fraser, 9th in the Chiltern Hills Mysteries. Meet Rona Parrish, a feisty biographer with a talent for digging up murder and a mystery wherever she goes, and Gus, the adorable golden retriever, trotting loyally at her heels. Rona is eager to interview Frank Hathaway. The modest pensioner has led an extraordinary life, but Rona doesn't expect the deadly secret waiting at the end of his twisty trip down memory lane. A year ago, Frank saw something terrible. 2 cars speeding down a winding country road after dark. What happened next is a blur Frank can't make sense of. A twisted wreckage of 1 car, the driver's face as he gasped out a single dying word. Frenzy. The police tell Frank he should let it go, that he can't trust his own memories of that night, but Rona's not so sure. The victim was a curious young reporter who uncovered many dark secrets in his time. It's only a question of which and whose was worth killing for. End of that row. See, look at that. We still have all these to go. You have your beverage? We're here for a while. The Curse of Cairo by Kelly Mason. 9th in the Lady Ellen Investigates. Ooh, another yellow dress. Egypt, 1925. Lady Ellen has a week of sightseeing ahead of her in Cairo with an organized tour party, but when Captain Hamilton proposes a private visit to the pyramids of Giza, she eagerly escapes the city. As a remote archaeological camp, a long-sealed tomb stands ready to be opened. A professor translates the warning carved above its entrance. A man who takes from this tomb will soon die a painful death. The Egyptian laborers step back, refusing to break the seal. Undeterred, the expedition's wealthy patron, Sir Reginald Kingsley, pushes the door open himself and discovers a treasure trove of jewels and ancient artifacts. That night, whispers of a pharaoh's curse drift across the desert. By morning, Sir Reginald is dead. Was it the revenge of the ancients or murder? As fear spreads through the camp and suspicion falls on everyone present, Lady Ellen must solve the mystery before the killer strikes again. You know I love historical mysteries. And I love the classic Egyptian setting for these. It's just getting bombarded, though. If you imagine all these characters all meeting in the 20s in Egypt, it's crowded. It gets a little old. The first 10 times was interesting. After that, The Crossroads by Sean McGuire. 3rd in The Witches of Blackwood Grove. It says 1 part Charmed, 1 part The Golden Girls, and a dash of Dexter. Spending her days on the family's enchanted apple farm, tending her plants from seed to spell. That's Dusty's plan for her crone years. Unfortunately, plans have a way of going off course. Word of Dusty's justice-restoring magic has spread through Blackwood Grove, and desperate townsfolk are slipping onto the farm after dark to get her help. Ironically, her best customers are the very people who loudly proclaim witches are wicked. Dusty has bigger concerns, though. Her 4-year-old granddaughter has started acting out as the search for Cricket's missing parents continues. With few options left, Dusty turns to her elderly aunts, whose magic is a little unpredictable. The crones insist they've fixed the flaws in their revealing spell. Walls are no longer disappearing. Clothing is remaining in place. So Dusty gives them the go-ahead to begin the search. The spell appears to be working as intended. Clues emerge. Answers seem within reach. Then a friend from Dusty's past shows up unannounced and brings disaster with him. In Blackwood Grove, spells tend to reveal secrets. Some secrets are far more dangerous than others. Once again, we didn't have any talking animals, did we? Did I miss it? Ribbons and Robbery by Lucinda Race, 4th in a Dress Designer Cozy Mystery Series. The holidays are supposed to be magical, but when Claudia Grant's well-meaning grandmother signs her up, without asking, for a booth at the bustling Drake's Bay Holiday Market, things start to unravel like a drop stitch in a knitting basket. Between hand-sewn Christmas and Hanukkah stockings, fabric wreaths, and a last-minute crash course in holiday bazaars, Claudia is in over her head. And that's before the local self-proclaimed bazaar queen, Ginny Wicket, struts in with her fancy brooches and bad attitude. When Ginny Wicket collapses beside her glittering display, Claudia assumes it's a tragic medical emergency. But when the cause of death points to something sinister, the festive market becomes a crime scene. Claudia and her best friend Beth can't ignore the loose ends. A brooch that mysteriously appears in Beth's tote box. A damp jewelry box in Claudia's shoulder bag. And don't forget the nervous knitter with something to hide. A fitness trainer who's a little too protective. A banker cousin who knows more about business than she lets on. And we can't overlook a rude, wealthy socialite obsessed with being in the know. As secrets unravel and another attack hits close to home, Claudia must stitch together clues before the killer disappears with the holiday crowd. Will Claudia survive her first holiday market, or will the season's hottest trend be felony chic? I don't know, I was picturing, as they went through each person, a little flash of a famous guest star. Like it was the Love Boat. See where my brain goes? Drowning in a Jinx by Gillian E. Thompson, 3rd in the Clearwater Witches Cozy Mysteries. Lillian King is back at Clearwater High, this time as a teacher instead of a student with too many secrets. She's hoping for a fresh start until she discovers her new co-teacher is Madison, her former tormentor and newly discovered cousin. Between co-teaching with Madison, settling into the house she inherited, and trying not to short-circuit every light fixture in town, Lily already has more chaos than coffee can fix. But workplace drama takes a dangerous turn when Lainey Carter, one of Lily's students, disappears after a fall break party at the hot springs. Lainey's aura has been unraveling for weeks. The adults in her life are evasive. Her brother is hiding something, and a strange man with dangerous magic keeps turning up where he shouldn't. As Lily digs deeper, the mystery pulls her toward an old boundary, a broken necklace, and a truth someone is willing to twist into a weapon. Her aura reading gifts are stronger than ever, but so is the magic tugging at the edges of Clearwater, and this time it feels personal. With her siblings' powers changing, Poe offers his usual questionable advice, and Alec getting harder to keep at arm's length, Lily has to decide who to trust before the spring takes another victim. Clearwater's magic is waking up, and this time it wants blood, truth, and family. End of that row. Tanked by Bessie Barr. That's got to be a made-up name. 3rd in the Owl Lady's Cozy Mysteries. New Year's Day, 1900. A new century, a dead man floating face down in the McKinney, Texas courthouse square water tank, and one farm wife who will not, let a wrong answer stand. Minnie Mae Harper is 60 years old, armed with a basket of eggs, too many years of reading people, and she is the most dangerous thing in Collin County. When Leroy McMurtry turns up dead on the first morning of the 20th century, the whole town settles comfortably on the obvious answer. A livery argument, two brothers with a history of fire, and motive stacked 3 ways. Minnie Mae helps build the case herself. Then a quiet man in a jail doorway says 4 words that won't leave her alone. She isn't working alone. She never has been. There's a knitting circle, a boarding house owner, a milliner, a mercantile wife, a doctor's daughter, and her own sister-in-law, who gather in barns and reading rooms with their needles out and their ears open. They don't have badges. They don't need them. We don't need no stinking badges. Sorry, I had to. They have something better, a town that underestimates them completely. Before there was the only women's league, there was just a knitting circle, a dead man in a water tank, and one farm wife who couldn't let a wrong answer stand. It says this is the first book in the Owl Lady's Cozy Mysteries. I guess the other 2 are kind of adjacent, associated in the world. Murder at First Sight by J.P. Bird. First in the Suddenly Psychic series. Coerced into posing as a seer at her small-town spring fair, barista and aspiring artist Amelia Weathers dives into the dramatic role, comforting herself that it's only a few hours and then she can indulge in sweet and savory snacks. When the wealthy and snarky Summer Foster swans into her tent inquiring about the expected success of her swanky summer party, Amelia is not prepared for the crystal ball to fill with smoke and reveal the shockingly violent murder of Summer's husband. Amelia grapples with skepticism, anger, and scorn as she tries to warn wealthy scion Philip Foster that he's a target for murder in a few weeks. Discovering she's descended from a long line of psychics complicates Amelia's investigation, especially when the town's newest and distressingly handsome homicide detective dogs her every step and suspects her of murder. We didn't get his name. We have to have a strong hero name. It's a race to the finish, and Amelia will do anything, including pre-dawn hot yoga, out, adopting her brother's feral ferrets, double out, missing dessert, all right, setting herself up as bait and making a fool of herself to stalk a killer. Somerset Mysteries by Dorothea Stiller, third in the June Morgan's Cozy Mysteries. On the abandoned grounds of an old farm on the edge of Lower Foxdale, a cult-like community who call themselves the Children of Avalon have set up camp. Their arrival has caused quite a stir, and some villagers are up in arms against the self-styled druids. When the deputy chairwoman of the parish council is found murdered at an ancient pagan site, the situation threatens to spiral out of control. For many residents of Foxdale, the only culprit must be among the strange newcomers. Pomona, however, refuses to believe it. Her skepticism prompts June to begin her own investigation, which may or may not clear the community of suspicion. Murder Off the Page by Maggie Allswell. Judy is reading late one night when a knock at the door disturbs her. Local teenager Megan has discovered her boss Colin, owner of local fish and chip shop The Codfather, lying dead next to the Friar. Found with the book club pick of the month at his side, surely Judy and her crime-solving book club can help? How about the police? The local police haven't a clue, but as Judy gathers her bookish friends, they soon uncover more suspects than they bargained for. Was it John from rival fish and chip shop Salty Towers, the estranged brother who stands to inherit the family business? Or is there something fishy about Daza, the new handyman who carries an empty toolbox? But when they both appear to have solid alibis, the book club are worried there are more red herrings in this case than they had counted on. When another body is found, Judy realizes that time is running out to crack the case before the killer strikes again. Can Judy and her book club follow in the footsteps of their fictional detective heroes to uncover the murderer before someone else is found sleeping with the fishes? End of that row. Whew, 2.5 to go. 10 more. More coffee. Okay, here we go. Oh, anthologies. I don't do anthologies. Skip. There's the cover. Moving on. It was a sneaky one that got in there. Quartet Killer by K.M. Jackways. Fourth in the musical mayhem. When her friend's wedding grinds to a halt moments before the ceremony, Esther vows to make things right. She can calm Arya's fears. Let's see. The champagne is chilled, the guests are assembled, and the bride has vanished. There we go. When her friend's wedding grinds to a halt moments before the ceremony, Esther vows to make things right. She can calm Arya's fears like no one else can. But before the wedding cake is cut, a body is discovered in the castle grounds. In a case more tangled than a bouquet toss gone wrong, the clues lead Esther to a family of suspects, a witty matriarch, her son who has a lifestyle beyond his means, and grandchildren whose perfectly polished appearances hide years of resentment. But as the investigation circles closer, it appears someone is lurking in the shadows, someone who understands magic and can match Esther's spell for spell. In a story filled with charm, magic, and dysfunctional families, blah, blah, blah. And she looks like, hi, welcome. How did this happen? Sweet Suspicion by J.A. Whiting, 28th in the Sweet Cove Mysteries. The Roseland sisters are thrilled to host a prestigious August garden wedding at their Victorian mansion bed and breakfast, but when something unexpected happens, the picture-perfect event becomes a crime scene. As Chief Martin investigates, he discovers no shortage of suspects. Nearly everyone at the wedding had reason to want Richard Harrington dead, and soon the sisters' paranormal abilities begin uncovering a dark truth. While Jenna communicates with a desperate ghost, Mr. Finch and Angie experience visions, and Courtney's intuition is on high alert. Ellie senses the poison was never meant for Richard at all. Someone at the wedding planned the perfect murder, but killed the wrong victim. Now the Roseland sisters and two fine felines must use all their gifts to uncover who planned the poisoning, why, and how to stop them before they finish what they started. Even the most beautiful weddings can hide deadly secrets, and the deadliest poison of all is greed, disguised as love. A Lesson in Lies by Sarah Ray Drake and C.J. Bellevue. Second in the Lessons in Murder. You guys still hanging in there? We're getting there. Substitute teacher Brooke Mackenzie is finally settling into life at Darcy Ridge until her latest assignment lands her in a fourth grade classroom with a very strange problem. The math manipulatives are moving on their own. A long-dead teacher is trying to send a message, and someone clearly doesn't want the past uncovered. When a retired staff member turns up dead under suspicious circumstances, Brooke realizes the whispers of cheating cover-ups and buried evidence from decades ago aren't just rumors, they're motive. As eerie clues begin pointing to a scandal hidden since 1985, which wasn't that long ago, Brooke teams up with her loyal and increasingly invested allies to follow a trail of ghostly equations, tampered test scores, and dangerous lies. But the closer she gets to the truth, the clearer it becomes. Someone already killed to protect this secret once, and they're more than willing to do it again. They're going to do it again. That's all they're saying. End of that row. The Body in the Laboratory by Diana Zarissa, 12th in the Sunset Lodge Mysteries. Abigail is asked to accompany her sister Mandy and Mandy's boyfriend Scott Wright on a tour of a building in nearby Saunders. Abigail's boyfriend Mark is invited to come along as well. Yeah, you can come too. The building used to be a laboratory that closed under mysterious circumstances when its owner seemingly disappeared some years ago. With her history of finding dead bodies in unusual places, Abigail is somewhat hesitant to agree, but she's very quickly assured that dozens of people have been through the lab since it went on the market, and there are definitely no dead bodies there. After completing the tour, the group stops to take a closer look at the small library in the missing man's office. When Mark removes a book from the shelves, the wall slides away, revealing a hidden study and a body. The missing man has been found, but he hasn't been dead for long. Now everyone in both Nightshade and Saunders wants to know why he left, where he's been, why he's returned, and how he ended up dead inside a hidden room in his own laboratory. It's About Time by Carol J. Perry, first in the Wicked Salem mystery series. This is a spin-off of one of this author's other series, it says. Nothing can spoil the mood at a 1-year-old's birthday celebration like the cops arriving, but it's not because the party got too rowdy. Instead, Detective Pete Mondello has a search warrant for a tenant's apartment. When Lee's aunt Ibby leads the police to Josh Alper's locked door, she's surprised to learn that her renter has redecorated with what appear to be masterpieces stolen from a museum back in 1972. The paintings may be found, but Alper, an artist involved with a shady cult-like group, is officially missing. So Ibby and her pals, who hold weekly watch parties of their favorite show, Midsummer Murders, decide to jump in and do some real-life sleuthing using the skills they've learned from DCI Barnaby. Ibby, a semi-retired librarian, may be in her 60s, which isn't old, but her tech skills are top-notch, and with some help from her friends Betsy and Louisa, as well as Orion the clairvoyant cat. Dang it, we almost made it. That spells trouble for any criminals in Salem. But when Alper's body is found in Salem woods, felled by an unusually sophisticated weapon, Ibby must buckle down with her team and prove she's just as talented an investigator as her beloved niece. Amy says, yeah, I'm still with you. Thank you. Murder at the Campfire Cookout by Darcy Hannah, 7th in the Beacon Bakeshop Mysteries. Converting the old Beacon Point lighthouse into a bakery is as adventurous as Lindsay cares to get. Her mother, Ellie, a former 80s fashion model, likes her creature comforts even more until she sees a business opportunity for her Beacon Harbor fashion boutique when she's invited by the Mitten Kittens glamping club on a woodsy getaway. I think they needed a better name. Far from roughing it, the ladies will be warm and cozy in chic vintage campers. Ellie insists Lindsay come along to win the campfire cookout contest. Campfire cooking has come a long way from bacon and beans. Soon Lindsay is making pizza, berry cobbler, and gooey Carmelita camping bars. But the festive spirit is soon dampened when a body is found in Ellie's camper. It seems like an accidental death until everyone's tires are slashed, and it's clear the glam site has become a crime scene. With no cell service to call for help. Really, they're glamping and there's no cell service? I don't think so. It's up to Lindsay to smoke out the killer around the campfire because no one is out of the woods yet. And the lab has a fish in his mouth. This is a new series by Carla Simpson, an author I very much enjoy. Oh, it's a spinoff from the Brody and Michaela series. Cool. Looks almost steampunkish, but it's not. Murder in Flesh Market Clothes, a Lily Montgomery murder mystery by Carla Simpson. This is a Victorian mystery set in Edinburgh. She escaped once. Now she's come back to uncover the truth, but the past isn't finished with her yet. Old Town Edinburgh is a place Lily Montgomery knows too well. She survived the foundling hospital where she was abandoned as an infant, then the brothel they called the church, where women sold themselves to survive. She escaped those streets. She built a new life in London. Now she's returned to learn the truth about her real family, only to find her oldest friend brutally murdered. Lily has seen death before, on Edinburgh Street as a child, in the inquiry cases she assisted with in London, but this death she cannot walk away from. Her friend protected her when no one else would. She owes her justice. James Monroe has followed Lily to Edinburgh, determined to escort her back to London. What he finds is not the stubborn girl he knew, but a formidable woman with a mind of her own, and no intention of leaving until the killer is found. As shadows from Lily's past close in and a gift she barely understands begin to surface, she and Monroe must find a way to work together before the murderer silences the one person determined to expose the crime and buries Lily's secrets forever. End of that row. 2 more to go. We can do this. Oh, this series. I should like it. I've not read it. I just can't. But doesn't mean other people can't enjoy it. Teach the Torches to Burn by Christina Dodd, third in The Daughter of Montague. This is in the world of Romeo and Juliet. It says, Romeo and Juliet, yes, that Romeo and Juliet, invite you to join them in celebrating the union of their spinster daughter, Rosie, she's 20, to Aeschylus, the younger prince of Verona, where murder is the unexpected guest at the wedding. If I, the aforesaid Rosie, blushing bride, noted cynic and sleuth, were asked to identify when the pre-wedding events spiraled out of control, I'd point to that moment when elderly Princess Ursula observed the display of gleaming swords and bared teeth and announced that she would hold a public seance to determine the future of the marriage. With the aid of Yorick's skull and her own considerable dramatic nature, Princess Ursula prophesied 3 things. The marriage would be joyous and fertile, the guest yawned. A long-lost treasure would be found, and foul and most unnatural murder would disrupt the fragile peace of Verona. Before the day was done, 2 prophecies had been fulfilled. Hint, not the fun fertility one. As one death follows another, and it's clear a skilled poisoner lurks among us, coming ever closer to striking down those I love, I use all my wit and skill to discern the reason for the vendetta and uncover the killer's identity, for I would have the holy church bells that now ring a sad lament peal instead for the wedding ceremony and the joyous and fertile future foretold. So the premise is Romeo and Juliet did not die. They got away, have this daughter. I can't accept it. Okay, just says, I've read, I think, 2 of the Bake and Bake Shop. Should get back to it. So many series. I know. Oh. And I see some of these young booktubers say, I need to finish these series. Honey, that's your reader. You're never going to finish series. I have read this series, but I'm behind. The Abduction of Rosalind Thorne. It says 4th in the Useful Woman series. It's actually like 7th or 8th. For some reason in the middle, they started counting over again. By Darcy Wilde. Rosalind is newly happily engaged to ex-Bow Street officer Adam Harkness, but lunching with the new fiancé of her old love is still discomfiting. Yet Clara Kinsdale needs her help, and Rosalind is not one to turn away a lady in distress. It seems Clara's father, Sir Anthony Kinsdale, has fallen for beautiful widow Mrs. Sylvia Lynn, who may be a fortune hunter, or worse. Sir Anthony is a profligate baronet who has pinned his financial hopes on 2 events: Clara's marriage and his horse winning the upcoming sweepstakes at Lansdowne, on which he has wagered heavily. Clara is afraid that her father is being fleeced by the charming and cunning Mrs. Lynn and wants Rosalind to expose her. But Clara does not realize that her sisters, Elizabeth and Cynthia, are harboring their own secrets. Elizabeth especially will do whatever she must do to obstruct plans to separate their father from Mrs. Lynn. Rosalind and Adam travel to Bath to meet the family, but their gathering is interrupted by Admiral Walsingham, who is leasing Kinsdale House. Despite his dire finances, Sir Anthony is evicting the Admiral, though his reasons appear laughable. Not laughable is that Sir Anthony is found dead soon after their argument, having apparently tumbled from his bedroom window while intoxicated. It will be easy to assume the tragedy was an accident, except Admiral Walsingham is found dead at nearly the same time. Secrets, schemes, fraud, and forbidden love all drag Rosalind and Adam into a web of high-stakes gambling, murder, and extreme danger. But can they unravel it before they become the next victims? Dot, 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 dot. And that is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Like 55, 56 books just this week. You know, in previous weeks when we were kind of struggling, why can't they just, balance it out a little bit? But we looked at them and we had time to look in each and every one. So, and there's actually one missing. Alrighty. Woohoo! Cajun says, oh, if I don't like the R&J twist, really don't read Beth is Dead. Oh, okay. All righty. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you coming and hanging out this morning when you could be sleeping in. I am, in fact, going to go back to bed. I got up at 5 to walk Keo and do this, so I will be snoozing again while fireworks are quiet. Thank you, thank you. Next week we'll have a whole new batch of new releases to look at. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a very safe 4th of July weekend. I don't have sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, as usual. So come hang out if you want to. Cajun says, hope everyone has a good day and stay as cool as possible. Absolutely. Good point. Hunker down, stay cool. Read good books. You know, it's a great excuse to read books. Amy says, we made it to the end of this group. Have a good day and a safe holiday weekend, everyone. We'll back at you, baby. Thank you so much. Mary says, wow, a nice long meeting this morning. I know it went an hour. Thanks so much, PK, and everyone have a great safe 4th. Back at you. Thank you, guys. All righty. Well, I'm going to finish my coffee and look at current events, and then Q and I are going to snooze. So I appreciate you. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good day. God bless.